Now, let's go ahead to actually Tim's question. Tim's question is, I never understand what it means when they're talking about 50% survivorship, 75% survivorship, 100% survivorship, periods certain, what are the ones and who uses what and what's the best way? Really great question, Tim. And I think this is where I would be helpful to you if I actually show you really quickly some examples. And then as I show you visually how it looks like, then we can talk about it. So I'm going to share my screen with you really quick. So let's take a look at the actual lump sum. So lump sum, as we know, you just take the lump sum, you roll it over, you put it in any investment that you want to put it in, and that is going to go ahead and help you with however you want to invest it to give you the supplemental income you need. So single life. So here's an example for single life. If in this individual gets $2,800, but the moment they die, their spouse gets nothing. So is it right for you to turn your actual single life and not leave anything behind to your spouse? We all know you want to take care of your spouse, so that's something that you probably don't want to do. But are there situations that you may be okay doing that? Well, yes, sometimes it depends. I'll give you an example. We had a case where the actual pension from the company they were receiving, I forgot what it was either Warner Brothers or CBS, one of those stations that they had, entertainment industry, that the single life was so much higher than the actual survivorship that it was better for them to take a single lifetime and take money that they would save and be able to get a protection to replace the income for their spouse for pennies on the dollar, as opposed to turning on the survivorship. So yes, there are situations that single life makes more sense, only if you have a backup plan for the loss of that income to your spouse in case that occurs. And in some cases, it could be that maybe your spouse is much older than you. So let's say if this individual is 55 and they're retiring and their spouse is maybe 70 or 68 or 65, or maybe they feel like they're going to live longer. I still think you should have some sort of a backup in place, but maybe that gives them the more comfort factor going, it's better for me to take single. And at the end of the day, it depends on how much the difference is. So let me go to an example of what if you took 50% survivorship. So in this example, instead of taking 2,800, and sometimes this is like example proportionately. So this is an example I took from one of the engineering pensions. It was the Boeing, Raytheon, they're very similar in some of their pension payments, where the difference is not that much when it comes to the survivorship. So in this case, they take 2,700. So if you as the employee retire, you get 2,700. But if you die, your spouse receives half of that, so 1,350. So again, this could be a possibility for some people that have other sources of income, and maybe they don't want to take too big of a cutback, and the 50% is enough for their spouse based on their lifestyle. Now, what is it if it's 75%? Well, it would be now they're taking 2,500. But their spouse gets 1,875. If you can see, everything gets reduced a little bit. The first one was 2,800, but no beneficiary. The second one was 2,700, 50% beneficiary. This one is 2,500, but it's 75% beneficiary. So you can see it's proportionately going a little bit lower when the other side is going higher. Now, 100% survivorship is where both of you get the same amount. This is the most popular for most couples because of the fact that it gives the security that's needed to make sure both spouses are going to receive the same amount of income, no matter who lives and who dies. And I think that is really key, and that is really important. Remember the story I shared with you a little bit earlier about my client that thought that her husband had chosen this? This is what they thought they had chosen. Unfortunately, they made a mistake on their paperwork and they had chosen the opposite. So making sure that you understand what this means is key. Now, I believe the survivorship is a little bit easier to understand. Where people really get confused about is the period certain. So example, let's say you're getting, let's say you choose a lifetime with 10-year period certain. A lot of people think that means, so let's use this example. If I was getting 2,800 and if I die, when I die, for 10 years, my spouse will receive my income. That's what most people think period certain means. It sounds deceiving enough that it sounds that way. So they think, well, that's good enough, because really, most likely I'm going to live for at least 10 years after retirement. And if I die, well, that covers her for 10 years or him for 10 years, and he should be okay. So this is actually, Nancy, I saw your question. And that was a question that you had, that you may be taking an early retirement and want to make sure your husband is taken care of through the pension, and you were looking at joint and survivor option, but you weren't sure which is the best, and you looked at period certain and you thought that would be the best option for you, but you couldn't understand it. So please, this one will actually explain it to you, this next slide. So here's what truly period certain means. Period certain means, here we go. So let's say your monthly income was $2,700, $2,800, $2,500, whatever it is. Now, let's say you're 62 and you turn on your income. Here's the period certain. If it's 10 years, it starts the moment your income starts. So only during these 10 years, if you die, whatever is the remainder of these 10 years, your spouse collects your income, that monthly. After that, they do not get anything. There's no more period certain. However, you will get the $2,700 for the rest of your life. So I hope, again, this makes sense. Remember, period certain means that during the 10 or 20 year, whatever certain period you choose with life. So again, this is life with period certain. That's what it means. The moment you turn on your income, that's when the period certain determines. Because of our experience being in the distribution phase of retirement, we have a lot of experience with that. So whether you're an existing client looking to retire and you want to run some numbers, or you're a guest of one of our clients, or you joined us from our community that had attended our events, don't hesitate to reach out to us so we can run some numbers for you and see what's the best pension option to maximize your retirement when it comes to income planning, protection from your family, and tax planning. Until next time, see you all soon. Bye.